Good.
Yep.
6 o'clock. Let's stand for pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, guys, we'll call the public hearing for the budget. This is the second one to order. We have no public. Matt, unless you've got something you want to interject.
No.
Okay. So we really don't have any public input on that. So just need a motion to adjourn from the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll call the meeting of the regular meeting to order. Everybody's had their packet, had a chance to review the 2 minutes from the original hearing as well as the original meeting. If there's no additions or corrections to the meeting, entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from October 6th.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the first order of business that we have is we don't have to suspend the rules because we can vote on it.
Yes, because it's already on second reading.
So we just need a motion on the budget, the 2025-3, the 2026 budget. I'll spit it out in a minute.
Ross, you'll have to abstain for those.
I'll make a motion to approve 2025-3 2026 budget. I'll second.
Who was the second? Sorry, Derek and Derek. All in favor?
Abstain.
Okay, so everybody put aye and sign here. Ross will put abstain and sign that.
Okay, next to my name? Next to your name. It's kind of cool how that works out. I'm going to have a wedding ring for you. Come throw out back and knock me out of the chair.
Hey, I only have to put up with about 8 more minutes, so.
That's true.
Didn't look at it like that, I guess. That means I have faith in you to get this meeting over with. We don't have a lot on.
Yeah, exactly. All right, first order of business that we have is Comcast. Matt, is that you or is that Melissa?
Well, they were supposed to be here this evening.
They said they were going to come just to talk about it, but I mean, I don't see any. I mean, I have no issues with putting it in. I think it's going to be a lot of locating work.
Just as long as you're on top of it. That's
I don't see a problem with it. I mean, they're wanting to get moving on because it's a government funded deal like Spectrum was.
right.
The only thing I was going to say was, I think they just need a copy of the minutes stating that this has been approved by the council that they move into here and start, establishing getting what they want to build. So, it will be fed from Connorsville. I did find that out, and they did send me a shapes file finally.
Okay. Yeah.
So I know
you're.
But
just let me know whenever.
Yeah,
I'll be more than happy to help
if you can help me get that downloaded onto that GIS, that'd be great.
You just whenever, just call me and we'll sit down sometime.
But yeah, that's what they would want. They're wanting the blessing to be able to move ahead. And I said,
Is it a bore or is it overhead?
everything's going to be bore. They're going to bore everything, be roughly about 92,000 foot of boring. There's going to be about 700 of the 18 by 24 boxes that'll go into right of ways, and they're going to be they're going to be
Damn boxes.
I know they're going to be everywhere.
Are those just like connect junction boxes?
Yeah,
basically?
they just pop them and
pull boxes, and
they're just pull box, and then that's where they'll hook up there.
Are they in the ground, or are they going to be the pedestals?
No, they'll be the pedestals. Yeah,
Yeah, the one thing that I would like, and I don't know whether that falls on the board or you or whatever, but as you drive through the county, you see what the condition of those are, and I just wonder are they required if we say it's becoming an eyesore, we got 6 of them that are knocked over or whatever, is that their responsibility?
I think what happened was they're discussing it a little bit. Spectrum put them wherever they could put them. They didn't keep them in the easements. They didn't use common sense as far as keeping them out of the ditch lines where farmers got them to mow.
Or where the water's
running.
Exactly. I don't even know how some of those are.
I think the biggest problem was there was nobody to really keep a thumb and pay attention, supervise it.
Well,
they really didn't have anybody that was, to keep them in the county that way.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern is that, they're an eyesore as it is, but it's a necessity. I understand that. But we need to make sure that, so I don't know. I'm assuming that that's their responsibility even after they're set. We just call them and say, hey, this needs to be cleaned up.
And I'm sure it will be, but I'll find out from them. I mean, those are things that because you guys come up with questions too that I haven't thought about asking. I'm more likely to know how they're feeding it. And, if Connersville has a major outage, does that mean Liberty's going to have a major outage too, or Shelbyville? Because that's what they're doing. They're hitting all of them. So Shelbyville, Rush County, Connersville, us, and then Richmond's also got Comcast.
And I'm assuming they're not going to have any equipment over here. They've not mentioned any kind of
never said a word about any of that.
Other than just booster stations as it goes along or whatever. So.
I have not heard any word about that. All I had was that shapes file or the drawing that I showed you that kind of laid out, up and down the roads.
Right.
And other than that, that's what I've got from them, and then it's feeding from Connersville.
Well, I'll leave it at the board's discretion if you guys want, or if you guys have additional questions that you need or don't want to act on until there's actually a representative here. If you guys have more questions, if you don't, it's the board's discretion as to whether to move forward. If we do, I just need a motion, I think, to approve or disapprove that. But again, if you guys have more questions than what I have and actually want to see a rep, I think that's something Matt could probably facilitate. So, board's discretion.
I don't know what questions I would ask, but other than keep those pedestals out of the historic district on Seminary Street.
Derek, one of you guys got anything? Jerry? I don't. No. Okay. Then if somebody wants to support the motion on the situation, then.
Make a motion to allow Comcast to move forward and put that at Superintendent Royce's discretion as to small decisions that they need to make along the way.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor? I'm assuming that we're going to skip over the.
Yeah, I thought she was coming in. She wanted to see where you guys stood on the cat issue, and she came in about.
We're happy to talk about it, but we got to have somebody here to have a discussion with, so we'll write that off. You're going to have to establish a stormwater fund. Is that?
We probably should think about this. Matt and I have talked. We've talked about this fund for a little while now, but that is the one thing here that we really don't know a lot about here in town. We don't know where they go, actually. I mean, we know kind of where they are. We don't know where they go. We don't. Technically, right now, storm sewer is affiliated with, or stormwater is with sewer.
Right.
So, in order to establish the fund itself, it would be we have to ascertain our cost. Which, let's say, I told Matt. Either way, we need to camera the area that's over there near Woodruff's because there's a lot going on stormwater wise in that area over there.
Woodruff's store or Woodruff's residence?
The store.
The store. Okay.
Am I not correct? That area?
Similar.
Yeah. So if we want to establish a fund that would help with the maintenance of the stormwater system, what we do is we camera. We get an idea of what's there. We get the cost of the camera. If any repairs, anything like that need to be dealt with, we do that. Then once that's is established, I would pay for it out of storm or out of sewer, and then we would establish a rate. Basically, what that is would be whatever cost is. It would be divided amongst all the in-town households. So usually, like I think last time I was at the city of Richmond, I think the stormwater rate was like $2 a month to establish this fund. But it's something we don't have any.
So that's how it would be funded, would be an additional cost on the water bill itself.
Yes.
For whatever to be determined later on based on what we find.
So, yeah, so we would have all the initial upfront costs.
Correct. And then what we do is then we'd set up the ordinance of saying like it would be to maintain, upkeep, build, because it's not something we're here to make money. We're going to put it back into the system. But
it's not a one and done either.
No, this is a continuous, kind of like your hydrant maintenance. That we collect 87 cents per customer or whatever per month. The storm would be the same way. We've got a lot of storm that's flat rock. We got a lot of the catch basins that are breaking down because those flat rock years ago that was okay, that was put in, but now we've got bigger trucks, heavier cars. The traffic's more on the roads than what we had before. So a lot of that stuff's breaking down, and we have to put them in. You get semis coming in for local deliveries. They're breaking down the storm drains because they're old. They've never been replaced.
So this is more along the lines of the actual drain itself, not the, because correct me if I'm wrong, all of our underground is a combination, right? So we don't have any true stormwater and true sewer.
No. We're separated. We're separated.
Everything is separate.
That's why.
Okay, that's why I'm asking if I.
Yes, that's why we're wanting to do this, because that's why I'm anticipating there's some problems over on West Seminary, because I don't know if in the past there's been stuff tied into the sanitary.
Okay.
And we're taking it on now. Because, for instance, like the other day when we had that 4 inches of rain, so with that large amount of rain, our flow at the wastewater plant kicked up faster than anything.
So that tells you
that's telling me
there's
we're
something
getting
tied somewhere.
Which you're getting I&I, you're going to. But we're picking it up way too fast.
Okay.
So we don't know if, like, there's storms tied into it, if there's some of that. We just haven't done any of that for years. We haven't done any smoke testing for years. So when we did the water stuff, I talked to Lucas Wooster, because Lucas is my go-to now with MD Westler. So Lucas is one that I will talk to if, we proceed to go that route, because we can smoke test, we can throw some flow meters in, depending on what we can do. But we have to build this fund up to get started.
Gotcha.
Instead of depleting out just the sewer, because on the other side, the sewer is going to need work too. We're going to have to start lining sewers eventually. We're going to have to keep PV, and so it's kind of one of those fine lines. We got to get separated so we can start doing it. The state's going to mandate it eventually. We're just, we're still a small community enough. They haven't done it to us yet.
So you're saying that to start it, you would pay it out of sewer.
I would still set up a
fund.
A separate fund within the sewer fund.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we have all the other funds, and it would be stormwater, and it would be paid out of that stormwater fund, but it'll go negative. It'll be, how do I want to say, bolstered by sewer.
Okay.
Then once let's say we get cambered, the whole 9 yards, we have some minimal repairs. My initial cost will be just based on the cost of cambering and whatever minor repairs were made. Then let's say we have.
And that's what establishes that future tax.
Yes.
Is that first time.
The first time cost.
Gotcha.
But then once, of course, you get those paid off is when you're going to, I guess, I don't want to call
because it'll be a calculation once we're done, because actually, Ross, what will end up happening more than anything will be your larger facility. So like, then I'm just using, for example, your Woodruff parking lot, your library, your school. They take it by square footage of what they would be draining onto that, because those folks are going to pay more than what a resident would pay, because obviously the resident's only putting so much onto the ground. You break it down by your parking lots, you break it down by your, there's so many different things that we can get into with that ordinance. And then we've picked and looked at like 7 or 8 different ones. So we're trying to piece something together to come up with that. But then you take a calculation of like the square footage, say, of 3,020, and then you multiply that by a couple factors. That's what I got to learn on that, because I'm not done enough of it tonight. And then that's what establishes the rate. So you might have 75 people that'll pay $3, or you could say, okay, we've got 5 of them that's going to pay $50 for just, those are two numbers, but just $50 because they've got more going into the storm. They're the ones that are putting more to it. That could cause the breakdowns of it than what it would be. Your bigger buildings with your bigger roofs, how you break it. Cause see, like downtown, every one of those run down the back behind the businesses. They all run down the alley behind. Well, so each one of them are going to have to be assessed different because Birch's has got a larger building than what Kalia Coffee does, for example, or what PRS or the insurance companies would have. So you have to break them down, and then.
So it would be something that you would calculate based on
Yes.
square footage of a roof, for
Yes.
example.
Right.
Or
In the parking lot size.
Yeah.
Because like the school, for example, how's it fair? The school's going to pay $3 and you pay $3 as a resident, and they're going to pay $3 and they've got 12 drains up there going into everything and running across.
Right.
So it's kind of one of those, and then your streets, you throw into it, but your residence is where you set kind of a rate. And that's where Melissa will have to probably talk more with Baker Tilly a little bit on what we can do in the same way with the engineer on it a little bit on writing up our ordinance for all that.
So do you see this as a fixed rate or a percentage rate, or do you?
I think it'll be a fixed. It has to be a fixed rate. We have to have a fixed rate. So now, eventually, maybe down the road, we might be able to adjust that a little bit because once, like what I would call the cammering expenses and that the initial startups are what I would call paid off, then we can go from there and maybe adjust accordingly.
A maintenance cost.
And make like a maintenance cost type thing. But we'll have to just play it out. I've already told Matt I want him to take $5,000 out of the sewer budget and camera that area down there by where he's feel like the problem is. Go ahead and just have them come and camera.
It's a good base start.
As a base start. We'll just keep that I'll just keep track of that and what we're cameraing, and then we'll just kind of, once we get a little bit more into it, but if you, for instance, Matt was working on one of the grates, the storm grates over by Access or Rooted Aesthetics. You open that gate, you got that grate, and I tell you what, you see the most perfectly built flat rock. What do you call it? Even like
it's like a chain.
Channel.
It's just weird the way it's laid up, but it's
it is.
flat rock. I mean, I lay down as far
It's
as
like a Roman aqueduct.
Oh yeah, it is. It's actually very impressive.
It's really neat, but it's almost to the point though. Those guys, when they camera, they're like, I've only seen this in one other place.
Yeah, because the Cooley
it's
guys.
kind of like when they started running the camera, they were amazed at it, but then they're also like, this could be a serious problem because it all being the flat rock. We could, we might have to look eventually. Hate to say it,
Sleeve it.
we might just have to sleeve it or take it completely out and start all over, put all brand new, start working our way as we build the funds later.
Yeah, that's
understandable. But
you hate to get rid of it, but you have to because
of
everything else.
But when you look at it down the road, you have to weigh your option of whether you sleeve that or would it be better. Because I mean, my whole thing is I want to set it up for the next guy where he don't have to deal with it.
Right.
Flat rock but we see a lot of
the amount of flat rock in this town is scary.
Yeah,
the fact that we haven't had a big issue is amazing.
So what are most of the catch basins then?
A lot of them are all poured set in, but then there's a lot of them that's been built up with old red brick, and they're just however they can put them up, and that's why I said we're, like the one we're having them start. They're starting to collapse in different spots. We're getting blowholes coming in beside those because those flat rock and that brick and stuff let go. Prime example was the one we built up there by the firehouse, corner of Fairground and Union. Years ago, the fire trucks, they were heavy, but they weren't as heavy as what these are now. And it just finally give out and blowed out. But we just got to get a handle on it, or I think it's going to get away from us, and then we're not going to have a choice but to spend a bunch of money that we're not ready to.
It's just like what was the stuff that we were talking about the last meeting too. We've got to future-proof things. And we got to get in front of it because it's always better to be in front of it than it is trying to play catch up. That stuff can get away from you fast. So, okay. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I mean, Matt and I can start the process of looking into it.
Yeah, I'm assuming that you guys will bring some additional information to the board.
But it's just something we need to seriously consider setting up.
Any other questions about that for Matt? Okay. Got some bills I need to pay.
Oh, bank recs. I didn't
Oh,
get
yeah.
those done till Friday late. I wanted to go ahead and get you guys approval so I get those.
By itself, guys, so whenever you guys take a look at those, I just need a motion on that. Motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the bank reconciliation.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Last time you did it.
Well, just so you know, paving is starting next week. We'll start asphalt around town. So,
Oh, I got one more thing. What about the Market Street front library?
I haven't talked to him.
Oh, that's right.
He was supposed to be in here last meeting.
Matt, can you reach out to them and find out what the heck's going on? Yeah, I forgot all about that. It looks like all the bricks gone and stuff, but they still got the construction trailer, the porta potty, and there's some other stuff sitting out there, so. What's what we gave them till October?
The first meeting in October.
Yeah, if it wasn't done,
They were supposed to come back and ask for.
if it wasn't done.
It looks to me like there's no reason.
They're
to put
wrapping
stuff-
up, it sounds like.
Exactly.
It looks like.
I would think that they would be out there by the end of the month for sure, so, but, yeah, Matt, maybe you could just find out for sure and just. Oh, okay. That'd be great.
Yep.
When is that slated to be done? Does anybody know? I never did see a completion date.
They're gonna be moving in sometime next month.
Really good. I've been seeing like cleaners and
Wow.
people cleaning and painting and all that kind of stuff going
That
in.
came from Julie. Julie told me
I'm
that.
anxious to get in here and check that out. Just look at the parking lot to do, obviously. Got tied in everything up there. They did that early though.
yes, yes.
So it goes, where does it tie? Does it come out to 27 or does it?
Yeah, that'll come
I
out.
couldn't
Ties.
remember.
Their storm comes out and ties it in.
Oh, that's right, because they had to close.
They
so-
well, and they cut that.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
still needs to be asphalt. That's why I think O'Meara's. Well, I asked them to do it the week of spring or fall break, but I think they're trying to do it, and hopefully they're done so they can do their stuff at the same time. So,
All right, guys, need a motion to adjourn?
Thank you, pal.
You're welcome. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Motion to adjourn.
Here, second?
Second.
All in favor?